GM, 600,000 trucks, catastrophic engine failure. Toyota, second recall, same root cause, 18 months later. Honda, 1.4 million vehicles, federal investigation, still active. Hyundai, over $1 billion in settlements, handed owners replacement engines. Those replacement engines failed the same exact way. These are not fringe brands. These are the 4 biggest names on the American market, and they are all breaking down at the same time. Not a coincidence, not bad luck, not 4 separate problems that happen to rhyme. You know why those mechanics are doing that? I have tracked these failure patterns across more than 200 engine cases. I have read the NHTSA filings, the settlement documents, and the internal technical service bulletins that dealers quietly hand to their service departments, but never show to customers. Not one of these failures was a mystery. Every single one had a paper trail. The question was only whether anyone was willing to follow it. Today, we follow it. 3 reasons. Countdown. And I go deepest on number 1, because that one changes how you look at every car purchase you will ever make. A customer reached out to me last spring. He was about to sign for a new half-ton pickup, $62,000 out the door, top trim. He asked me if he was making the right call. I told him to wait. I told him to read what I'm about to tell you. You walk into a dealership. The salesman tells you the new engine is the most advanced thing they have ever built, more efficient, cleaner, smarter. He is not lying to you. He just is not telling you the rest. You know what the rest is? That efficiency was not engineered for you. It was engineered to pass a government test, and the engineers who built it knew exactly what they were trading away to get there. Here is the calculation. Federal regulations called CAFE standards mandate average fuel economy targets across a manufacturer's entire vehicle fleet. Miss the target by a single mile per gallon, and the fine is $17 per vehicle. For a manufacturer moving 2 million cars, that is over $300 million in penalties every year. So the manufacturers did the math, and the result of that math is something your dealer is banking on you never figuring out. A predictable rate of engine failures, warranty claims, and lawsuits was calculated to be cheaper than paying the CAFE penalty year after year. The manufacturers made a business decision about the lifespan of your engine before you ever drove it off the lot. This is not an accusation against individual engineers. This is system logic running exactly as designed, and the system has already priced you in. Now, let me show you exactly where that calculation lands inside your engine. 3 reasons. Countdown. We start at number 3, and that one alone should stop anyone from signing a new car deal this week. Reason 3. The pandemic inheritance. Picture this. You buy a car in 2022, brand new off the lot, 12 miles on the odometer. What you do not know, the engine inside that car was assembled in a factory running on a skeleton crew. Experienced quality inspectors were not there. Established suppliers had gone dark. New vendors, without track records, without quality history, were brought in overnight because the production line could not stop. GM had connecting rods with out-of-specification dimensions. Toyota confirmed manufacturing contamination at both Japanese and Alabama facilities during specific production windows. Stellantis found actual sand particles trapped inside engine blocks. This is in the recall documentation. In plain English, anyone willing to read it can find it. These defects are invisible when the vehicle leaves the factory. You see nothing. Your diagnostic tool sees nothing. But they are sitting deep inside that engine, and they are working against you. You know when they finally show up? At 60,000 to 100,000 miles, right when the warranty expires. That is not a coincidence in timing. That is the delayed consequence of 3 years of compromised manufacturing, all surfacing at once. Right now, 2025, 2026, you thought you bought a new car. You bought a ticking clock with a mileage counter on it. That is reason number 3. And if you think pandemic-era manufacturing defects are the worst of it, reason number 2 is going to change how you look at every oil change you have ever skipped. Reason 2, the oil paradox. Reason number 2, This one is quieter than the first, but in some ways it is more deliberate. 20 years ago, your engine ran on 5W30 oil, thick enough to hold a stable protective film across every bearing surface, tough enough to absorb a hot summer, a skipped service appointment, a cold January morning start. Then the fuel economy pressure came, and the oil got thinner. 5W30 became 5W20, then 0W20, then 0W16, and today, some manufacturers spec 0W8. 0W8. That fluid is so thin it would feel like water if you poured it on your hands right now. That is the only barrier between your crankshaft and complete engine destruction, not because it is better for your engine, because thinner oil saves half a mile per gallon on the EPA fuel economy test cycle. Half a mile per gallon. That is what they are trading your $80,000 truck for. You know what GM's own engineers reached for when their recall fix actually needed to hold? Not a redesigned part, not a new component. They changed the oil. From 0W20 to 0W40, twice as thick. If the problem were contaminated materials or bad machining, changing the viscosity would fix nothing at all. Dirt does not care how thick your oil is. GM's own recall remedy told you that 0W20 was never adequate for real-world driving. They just chose not to say that at the point of sale. That is what dealerships won't tell you when you are standing at that desk. They are banking on you never making the connection. That was reason number 2. Now we get to number 1. This one is not about a supply chain problem or a lubrication shortcut. This one is structural, and it was not an accident. Reason 1, the racing trick. Reason number 1, a guy in his late 40s bought a brand new F-150 with a 2.7-liter EcoBoost, worked his whole career to afford it. 68,000 miles in, the engine started knocking. By 71,000, it was gone. The warranty had expired at 60,000. He is not alone. The same story shows up in forum thread after forum thread. Different names, same mileage window, same result. You want to know what actually happened to his engine? In the 1990s, a full-size pickup ran a 5.7-liter V8, 210, 220 horsepower, thick walls, heavy cast components, metal everywhere metal was supposed to be. That engine ran at a fraction of its physical stress threshold, even under hard use. You know those engines. They are still running today, with 300,000 miles on them. Then came the trick. Engineers discovered that a turbocharger bolted to a 2.7-liter engine with the boost pressure cranked up could produce 400 horsepower out of something the size of a carry-on bag. Marketing loved it. The EPA test numbers looked great. The fuel economy story wrote itself. Your engine did not love it, because that 2.7-liter is now generating more internal pressure, more heat, and more mechanical stress on every single component than the old V8 ever did, with literally half the metal carrying the load. Think about 2 people. First one, 250 pounds of solid muscle built to carry weight all day. Second one, 140 pounds lean. You load both of them with the exact same weight. The big guy handles it. The lean guy, every joint is grinding, every tendon is at its absolute limit, every step costs something, because he was never built to carry that load. That is your modern turbocharged engine, every single day, for years. Over 2,000 pounds per square inch of cylinder pressure. That is race engine territory. Those motors get torn apart and rebuilt after every single race. Your truck does not get rebuilt after every race. Your truck sits in a parking lot for 45 minutes with the engine running because the air conditioning is on. Manufacturing tolerances smaller than a human hair. 70 microns, no margin, no forgiveness. The old engine forgave a skipped oil change. It forgave a hot summer tow. It forgave a momentary pressure drop. The new engine forgives none of that. Because it is not running near its physical limit, it is running on it. That is the real reason no mechanic who truly understands these systems will voluntarily buy a modern turbocharged engine today. Not because new technology is inherently bad, because this technology was not engineered for longevity. It was engineered to pass a test. Physics does not care about test results. You now know 3 things your dealer will never put in writing. That engines built during the pandemic years are carrying damage timed to arrive right after your warranty expires. That the oil in your engine is thinner than at any point in this vehicle's design history. And GM's own recall proved it was never enough. And that none of this is an accident or an oversight. It is the output of a financial calculation made in a boardroom. Not an engineering decision, a business decision. The trap is built into the system, and the warranty is designed to survive just past the point where the trap springs. Next time a salesman slides a lease sheet across the desk and explains how advanced and efficient the new turbocharged motor is, you will know exactly what he is not saying. 3 things you can do before you close this video. First, go to nhtsa.gov right now and run your VIN. If your vehicle falls inside any open recall window, especially for engine-related issues, book that repair today, not next month. Today. Second, cut your oil change interval in half. Your manual says 7,500 miles. Do 4,000. $60 a year in extra oil costs against a $15,000 to $25,000 engine replacement is not a close call. Third, disable start-stop on every single drive, or eliminate it permanently with an OBD2 canceller module for under $100. Every cold start cycle pulls lubrication away from your bearings for the first several seconds. Stop-start multiplies that by hundreds of cycles a month. These are not upgrades. This is self-defense against a system that already priced in your repair bill. There is one category of engine that every mechanic I know quietly recommends when nobody from the manufacturer is in the room. You probably walked past it on a used car lot last month and did not stop. That video is right here. Drive safe. Take care of your engine before it stops taking care of you.